Welcome to the Origin of the Maker podcast. I'm your host, DLC Props, and this is a re-record with my buddy William Jakespear Props because we recorded a podcast at Dragon Con that was supposed to be the first lineup of podcasts from Dragon Con, but circumstances happened and noises were made and equipment was failing and cops were driving by. So today, when I was listening to the podcast before I post it, like I do all my podcasts, I spent half that time just shaking my head in disappointment at myself. So this podcast, with being the first podcast in the lineup of 4 podcasts I did while at Dragon Con, we're going to pretend like we're at Dragon Con, but not really. We're going to talk about Dragon Con a little bit, then we'll move on to other things. But I got my friend William Jakespear Props. He's a YouTuber, former host of Backyard Effects by the Indie Mogul channel. He makes a lot of stuff. He makes a lot of Star Wars stuff. And we're going to talk about it because I don't know why. I'm just doing this because I want to.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? Thanks for doing this again.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I get it. I mean, there was a lot of background. Certainly, any one of those incidents would have caused me to have to do a retake on like an intro or a short film or something like that. So I get it.
Yeah. Besides
just the nature of the beast.
Oh yeah. Besides the doors opening up and bags and stuff. Like I was excuse me, I just burped. That was gross. I was listening today, and there was a pause, and you said something about is it really picking up all that noise? And it was like no. I yelled over to one of my roommates. It's like, hey, did you just pull out a metal rack out of the microwave?
Oh yeah, I do.
I was like, that's a bomb.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad that they took that out because a lot of us were quite intoxicated at the end of the night, and I can only imagine one of the many people that I roomed with making the mistake of turning on a microwave with a piece of metal inside of it and blowing up the room.
I mean, you would see it, but if it was one of those low-lying things, yeah, I could, and if with the amount of alcohol involved, so yeah, you're right, that totally could have happened.
Because being Dragon Con as it was, I started drinking Wednesday night when I got there. And then stop.
Oh, I pre-gamed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember, I was wearing, my first cosplay was a vinyl flight suit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to sweat everything out of me immediately. Just going to down a 6-pack. And that got me through the line to get my badge, which was an hour and a half in that line. So I ended up, that was pointless. I was sober by the time I got through the line.
Yeah, you sweating out all that alcohol. You know, that was the only part of the con that I actually did was the line, because it's like, I need a badge so I can get into all the hotels.
Oh, you mean on Thursday?
Yeah, it was Thursday morning. Me and Joe Liss, we walked over there, got the badges, and I ran into a few of my Fallout 76 Dragon Con crew as we were walking out. So I was like, deuces, I'm going to go see what my buddies Ted and Stormy are up to. Then, then the drinking began again, because, that's what you do at Dragon Con.
As it does.
So, we're not going to try to, rehash everything that happened at Dragon Con, but what was some of your highlights that you had?
Oh, wow. Honestly, just the reaction to the DRD that I built, because I sort of, I did that, for those of you who don't know, I built a robot from a 90s TV show called Farscape, and it was sort of me trying to figure out what my inspirations were and coming across some old notebooks full of spaceships, and one of them was a whole page dedicating to trying to reverse engineer this TV robot. So I built that, and I had it with me at Dragon Con, and all the Farscapers were like, oh my god, it's a DRD! So I guess someone builds them.
He's like,
so that was a big one.
It's like, I know that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you seem like you had a good time at Dragon Con the few times I saw you. We hung out. I think we hung out a little bit on Thursday night. Then I lost you. Then I saw you again a couple the other times throughout Dragon Con.
Yeah, well, it's difficult for me because I had made plans with a bunch of different people and not necessarily all prop people.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I'm going to see them. So, and then there's just the difficulty of physically getting from one place to another at Dragon Con.
Oh yeah.
But with what was it, 82,000 people this year,
Jesus
all
Christ.
shambling along.
God damn.
But no, so I was trying to please everybody, and deal with all that. So I saw you. I feel like I saw you in passing a lot.
Yeah. Besides at the podcast, we hung out for a while. Then I lost you because then I saw you ran into Odin and Steve and everybody after a while. Of course, over the course of the next couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you're going to see these people again, so it's like,
Yeah, with with like people like Odin or Bill and Brittany from Punish Props Academy, or a lot of the other makers like German Props or Vulpin Props, you're only going to see them like once a year, and that's going to be Dragon Con because we all go to that.
Yeah, no, it's the prop maker convention. But I was thinking about it, and like if a cosplayer has made any part of their costume,
Ooh,
they're a prop maker, technically speaking. So in that sense, all conventions are really maker cons.
Yeah, you did kind of cut out there for a quick second, but I'm gonna assume that like basically reverb is that any con you go to, there's going to be all kinds of makers going to be there. Rather, they're going to be popular makers like some of our friends are, or just general makers that in passing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Nah, but Dragon Con was fun. I didn't get to see some of the people that I wanted to see again. Unfortunately, Core Geek was not there.
Oh, that's right.
Folkenstall Armory wasn't there. Double Zero Effects wasn't there this year. Evil Ted wasn't there this year. I know we talked about it last time, but I haven't met Ted yet. But I've communicated with Ted a lot, and I was like, "Hey, are you coming to Dragon Con this year?" He's like, "No, I'm not making it this year." And I think all the people wearing the Evil Ted shirt walking around Dragon Con that I've seen, he saw all those because I posted pictures of me and another maker in Evil Ted shirts, and he saw other ones. He's like, "You guys are wearing my shirts. You guys are making me sad. I'll be there next year."
Nice.
From basically what I understand.
All right, yeah, no, that's interesting way I should get some shirts out there so I know where people want to see me. But yeah, no, I met him that one year he was there. He had like an alien egg that he had built, and I guess his big con crunch horror story was that he built an accurate face hugger, and it didn't work with the gag that he was trying to pull, which was that his hand he was holding an alien egg and he had a fake arm, so his real arm was gonna shoot out.
Oh yeah.
And the accurate one doesn't quite work with that, so he had to make a sort of quick and dirty fake glove one, and it still looked great, especially in convention lighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's cool. Look forward to seeing him at future conventions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him next year. I probably won't hit a con till Dragon Con. Saving up money to get a house and doing the parent life thing, and also paying bills and shit. I figured on top of everything else I need to get done, it's like I'll probably hit my local Pop Con, and I may go to Gen Con the Saturday and Sunday, but I'm not gonna hit any cons this year till Dragon Con again.
Yeah, I'm only gonna do the local ones and the ones where I get hired to come out to, and right now that's only like 2, but trying to change that with
it's 2 more
some
than me.
Pieces that I'm building.
I like to get paid to go out to cons. I'd do that.
Yeah, no, it'd be great.
Oh yeah, like Deuces. I'm going to Toronto or California or Texas or whatever. Shit, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
They'll let me into Canada. I'm not a criminal.
Oh my God, I just did a convention in Canada, and on the way back, the American Border Patrol, they're like, your passport's expired, right? And I'm like,
Oh
what?
shit! I was like, "Are you gonna let me back in the country?"
Yeah, it was expired by like a month. But what concerned me is that the Canadian border guy, who was kind of an asshole, he didn't catch that. Like all that macho security BS, and he misses that my passport's expired. That was nuts.
That's hilarious.
Not to say anything disparaging about Canada. They're all great. It's just I hate dealing with security people. So I just got my passport renewed today, and as I'm filling out the information, I'm like, oh, okay, so I got to make sure this is going to cause me the least problems.
Yeah.
So for my job, my occupation, I put down carpenter, because if the border people think that you make more money than them, causes a problem. And I have technically done a lot of carpentry. So
Yeah.
that's better than if you say you work in film, because then they search your car looking for cameras.
Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, I listened to an interview with Harrison from Volpin Props, and he said when he was starting his company, he was trying to describe to the people what he did, and they weren't quite getting it. So he ended up just being like, "I'm a sculptor," and it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Especially walking around the way he looks. I mean, if you're gonna wear that hair, you're gonna have problems with security. I wish that I could have Thomas Jane hair from The Expanse all the time, but I have to travel. So
yeah. I working in the place that I work, I kind of have to have somewhat kept hair and facial hair. So like, I got that dapper 9 to 5 look.
Mm-hmm.
I've been mixing it up a little bit. I'm starting to shave down the sides more and more, because next year I'm doing Red Dead for Dragon Con, and like I said last time, I'm doing a dapper Arthur Morgan, which that will lead into the stuff that I wear for that. I remove and replace one item, and I'm Captain Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. Condensing costumes so it makes it easier to travel and do cons.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I got another, like, an actual story about that from Dragon Con. So on the plane ride back, I guess I was I spent an extra day in Georgia, and I ended up getting to the airport late, and I didn't have time to check my bag. They're like, well, you can still make the flight, but you're gonna have to gate check it. I'm like, oh, that's an option? Awesome. So I get in the security line, and then I'm like, oh, you dope. You're a prop maker. Your bag is full of knives and replacement blades for the knives, and heating elements, and electrical nonsense, and a high-altitude fighter jet pilot, because that's your helmet bag. That's your Miller costume, and a tactical vest. Oh, and those ice packs, which have way more gel that's in a tube of toothpaste. So it's like, jeez, I'm gonna get shipped off to Guantanamo or wherever. So I'm going through, and I'm just waiting for it, and I'm waiting for it, and my bag comes right through, and I get I get dressed again, because you basically have to go through these things naked now, and I just walk away, and nobody cared. No one even opened my bag, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of concerned for national security now.
Or it's like, this guy don't look dangerous. We'd let him through. He ain't gonna hurt nobody.
I'm hoping. Oh, I also forgot the duct tape, the rolls of duct tape in there that I could have used to subdue flight crews. But I'm hoping that what it was is, since I was one of the last the cosplayers to leave, I'm hoping that they had seen like 10,000 crazier versions, like the people who buy knives from shows and stuff, and that they saw that and like, oh, okay, it's from Dragon Con. I'm hoping that's what it is.
I was like, he's one of those nerds that came through. No, this ain't a murder bag. This is just this is a geek bag, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's like,
one can only hope.
all right. I don't I don't ever fly, so I don't ever have to deal with that.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah, because I drive everywhere, man. I do not like airplanes at all. They kind of freak me out a little bit. I've only flown.
I love them, but I hate security so goddamn much, and I hate just. I'm always on the plane with the screaming baby, and it's like, why did you take that thing up into the sky? There's no way to explain to it what's going on. Do you really need why? But yeah, no, I would love fly. Like if I could just own my own airplane, I would love that.
You need that jet money, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I couldn't. I have bad eyes. I would never be able to get a pilot's license. But no, I did drive the previous year. Yeah, your infirmity.
No, man, just hire a pilot, dude. Quit being a prop maker, become like a famous comedian, get that jet money, and just fly everywhere.
Like that. Okay.
Have somebody fly you around, man. Like, I want to go back to Dragon Con. I know it's been like 5 years, and I don't do that shit anymore, but I kind of want to go. Hey, Jim, we're gonna take a trip.
Nice. But no, I actually drove the previous year from upstate New York to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, and the reason I did that was the year before that, the airport lost my luggage, and shit. that was like when Rogue One came out. So I was going as a '70s X-wing pilot, which is just an X-wing pilot with a ridiculous mustache. And I was really proud of that cosplay, and they lost my luggage. And that was the year that I got to hang out with the Star Wars Explained people, and it's like, this would have been so much better if I was my X-wing cosplay. So I was just so furious with them that I decided to drive the following year. And since I was driving, I was like, I should do something that I would never in a million years be able to take on a plane, and that was Miller's pet nuclear bomb from The Expanse, which worked out great that year.
Yeah. Did you have any problems flying with that this year?
Oh no, I got relatives in Atlanta, and they had come up a few months prior, so they took it. They took my bomb back for me.
It's like, hey, I know you guys are going down to Atlanta. I need you to take a bomb with you.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're less suspicious looking than me, and one of them actually works with nuclear power, so they have an excuse.
Like anybody stops, like, you see this thing? Does that look like it can split an atom?
Nah, they're a lot better with dealing with authority than me. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I think anybody who's like an adult can. Not saying that you're not an adult, but I'm an adult and I'm not an adult. We're prop makers. We're not adults.
Yeah, right.
We make our own toys. So
I like to say that I turn fantasy into reality for a living.
Yeah.
But I do kind of make toys. That is kind of what I do.
Like, I got one right here. This is that Schofield I was telling you about, that graphite one. It has the brake on it.
Nice. I can't really see it. I'm staring at a phone and a ring light, but I'll take your word for
it. Here I am prepped with, like, I got my lightsaber I'm working on. I got my gun.
I mean, I have all of my stuff over in the other room. I just didn't. It's just no one can see it. So what's the point?
Yeah, I saw it for a hot second. But you do. Speaking of lightsabers, you've made quite a few lightsabers on your YouTube channel, and you make a lot of Star Wars stuff, dude.
Yeah, and what's ironic about that is part of it is I'm also a Trekkie, but for a year, like the year that that the channel really took off, I had an opportunity to work on a Star Trek show, and like movies, they have the money to check out the social media of the people they hire. So I didn't want them to see any Star Trek stuff, because then they'd go, "Oh, he's a fanatic. Let's not give him the job." So I ended up just gravitating more towards Star Wars, and honestly, not to tick off any Star Trek fans, but I think Star Wars just has better props.
Yeah, they do.
Not that not that Star Trek doesn't have amazing props. It's just they're few and far between.
Yes.
Like the phasers are cool, but there's like two different types of phasers that are iconic, you know?
Yeah.
And the robots are cool, but there's Data. I'm not going to build a replica of a person. And there's Nomad, and that's it. Whereas Star Wars, there's just infinite. It's a whole fleshed out, lived in universe to build from.
Yeah.
And if you do a bad job, if you mess up and you don't have the budget to, fix it, because this ad revenue is a joke, you can just pass it off as weathering, and it works because it's Star Wars. Everything's dirty and broken.
Hide those crimes with that dirt.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I will say that Star Trek does have above Star Wars is that the special effects makeup they do for the characters, all the aliens they have on that TV show, is like way better in Star Wars, in my opinion.
In Star Wars,
the Star Wars special effects for like the creatures is good, but the Star Trek special effects for the creatures is like way better.
Oh man, there's a guy who did special effects, who did that creature makeup on Next Gen. He actually worked for the CIA making fake alternate identity masks for CIA agents. So they better be good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Because, as far as prop-wise goes, it's Star Wars all the way, because they got the lightsabers, they got the blasters made out of real-world things and other stuff. Then they got all the kit bash spaceships shots and all this and that. Not that Star Trek doesn't have all those, but...
No, they don't, because they're working on a TV budget, so there's only so many spaceships.
Even the movies, too, all the spaceships look cool, but they all kind of look the same. All the phasers and phaser rifles, they all look the same. The badges, But with Star Wars,
that's part of a uniform. That kind of has to be.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying Star Wars, as far as prop wise, man, you can pose blaster. It's part of a frame from an AK and a pistol grip mixed with a ton of other shit.
Oh, you know what I love about, if I can just totally interrupt and walk all over what you were going to say right there.
Go right
in the
ahead,
Solo
man.
movie, when Woody Harrelson, I forget his character, is giving Han his blaster, he disassembles it from a larger gun, and I'm like, that's perfect, because it was based on a handgun could be built out to a carbine.
It's a
Mauser C96.
Yes, Mauser C96. I was about to say
that's
that.
one of my dream weapons.
Oddly enough, the guy who came into the room after we did the podcast, all rushing in because you were wearing something he wants to make, he makes some of the best DL-44 replicas out there.
I should have, because we talked to him. We talked for 20 minutes about.
Yeah, and he was dressed as Han Solo too.
Yeah. I don't know. It was Dragon Con. We were drinking. I was dying of heat exhaustion.
Yeah,
as you do.
Watney props is that? That's
I connected with him after the fact. So now that I know that he does that, I've got to check that out.
The last two that he made, you hold them, they have actual weight. They're legit metal props that could be hero props in the movie.
Now, you see, that's a thing that a lot of people ask me about. It's getting a weight and a heft to the prop, but you don't want that if you're going to be shipping it, because it's going to add to the shipping weight. And you don't want that if you're going to be cosplaying, because you got to carry the thing around all day. And that's not how the props are in movies often. But I do get if it's just a display piece,
And we are back. Sorry for that short break. But yeah, we were talking about props being light compared to being heavy, for showpieces being heavy, then con safe props that are light, because you don't want to walk around with a heavy prop at a con. You drop it, it breaks into a million pieces, or you're carrying a heavy prop and accidentally hit somebody in the head because you're carrying it over your shoulder or something like that.
Oh yeah, I got a whole story about that too, and it's not so much heavy props, but just dangerous stuff. I don't know if you saw this cosplay because I only wore it for a few hours, and I was just dying of heat exhaustion the whole time. But I was in a spacesuit from The Expanse, which are they're basically aviation flight suits from the 70s, I want to say, with a bunch of 3D printed parts on them.
Yeah.
And I did not have time. You may have seen some of my posts where I was trying to 3D print stuff before getting on the plane. But I did not have time to go over and sand it and fill it and everything. So it wasn't really necessary. Like, that's one thing I love about 3D printing. If it's for video, if it has to look good on camera, you don't necessarily need to turn it into a museum quality piece.
Yeah.
Especially, for a con. But anyway, so I put everything on here. I made up this space helmet, and eventually I had to leave the con for the day. And I was walking down the street, and somebody bumped into me as they were walking, and I guess she must have gotten caught on like a burr on one of the 3D printed parts, because she like gave me this look like she physically said ow, and she gave me this look like watch where you go, and she looked like she had cut herself, but I couldn't actually see because her back was turned. And for like half a second I felt really bad until I remembered that I was dressed in Joe Miller's spacesuit from the Arrow scene from The Expanse, which I don't know if you've seen that, but the flight suit is covered in bright pink reflective material, like safety vest.
Yeah.
And literal flashing lights.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like,
if that wasn't a big enough
lady,
sign.
lady, you don't need to worry about that little scrape you just got. You got to worry about the Mack truck that's going to hit you when you cross the road without looking. Like, how did you walk into someone covered in reflective gear and flashing lights? Oh my God.
Right.
But yes, safety is definitely a concern.
Oh yeah.
It's the moral of that story.
Yeah. Or how about you just watch where you're going?
Mm-hmm.
Especially, being in a crowded con like Dragon Con.
Right? It's like
kind of hard.
Someone with a con. It wasn't even like that was on the sidewalk outside the convention.
Yeah.
There was space. They weren't avoiding anyone and ran into me.
I think I said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry," probably like 1,000 times at Dragon Con. Not so much outside, but inside. I was like, "Oh, excuse me, sorry. I'm trying to get through here. Excuse me." Like more times than I care to remember.
Oh yeah, no, it's just there were moments where I just the congestion of the foot traffic. I had to just find an alcove and just sit there and be like, I'm gonna wait until this clears up. And it helped that when on Crichton Day, when I was John Crichton from Farscape, I could just drive around the DRD, and I still don't remember if you had seen that show or not, but as some kind of happy accident, my DRD moves exactly like it does in the show, so everyone was thrilled with that, and just endlessly entertaining for me, just watching this thing that I grew up with, just running around. Pestering convention goers.
Oh yeah.
Or thrilling convention goers.
Depending on for sure.
Seen that random '90s sci-fi show.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
no, there was a guy there dressed as Ronin Warriors. Do you remember Ronin Warriors?
Oh yeah, that was no spaceship. That is a buddy of mine. There was two of them. One of them was my friend.
There were two Ronin Warriors.
Yeah, I saw two. One of them was my buddy No Spaceship. You can check him out on Instagram. Shout out No Spaceship if you're listening.
Well, he was absolutely amazing. I never thought that I would ever think about Ronin Warriors ever again, because I think that was the first anime. That may have been the first anime that I've ever seen, and that was my jam when it was on. That was an amazing show. Yeah. Although I went back to watch it. I want to say in 2010, and I was like, oh, this animation looks like a GIF. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another shot.
Doesn't hold up like it used to. Not when you're 5 and like, this is awesome. Now you're however old you are and like, this isn't as awesome
Watching
as
the
I remember.
virtual reality and all the crazy nonsense we have.
Yeah.
But no, that armor, like those were amazing suits of armor. I think that was just the draw. Everyone had amazing armor.
Yeah.
So there is somebody from every single franchise you could possibly imagine at Dragon Con. It's total sensory overload.
Yeah.
At all time.
I kind of wish I made a video of it. Because my friends Beatdown Boogie were there. Legend of Micah was there making videos. I know Grace from Zombies Workshop made a video, which you were in.
Yeah, that's right. So that that was me dying of heat stroke because like my shoes fell apart for that costume and I was like, oh, I can't do anything. I have like 20 minutes of stage health left in this costume. I'm just going to go to where Zombies Workshop or Zombies Meetup is, say hi, and then bug out.
Yeah.
So literally what happened immediately after she shut off the camera was like, great to meet you. I'm dying. I have to go by.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I did want to talk to her about her flamethrower because I do want to do a flamethrower at some point.
Yeah, I was watching. It's like, oh, there's me in my Braveheart costume. I look fucking ridiculous. Because
I don't think I saw that one. I don't know. The costumes I did see look pretty good.
Yeah, I look. That was a last minute throw together. Kind of the only good thing about it was the leatherworking I did. But she was taking video of Bill's mecha hand thing he built, and I'm just sitting there, arms crossed, just looking at it, but like, yeah, that's awesome. In my Braveheart costume with blue going across my face, like, I look fucking ridiculous. Why did I do that?
You know, I'm sure to a large majority of people there, you did not look ridiculous. I mean, I was in a pink spacesuit.
I was in a skirt.
I bet that was infinitely more comfortable than all of my costumes.
Oh yeah, like that was the first time I ever wore a kilt.
Yeah,
ever, and it's not like not a real kilt, but a utility kilt that snaps on, you belt it and stuff. Oddly comfortable.
I don't think it's odd at all. I'm very envious, and part of my continuation with the whole Farscape thing is I love The Expanse and I love Farscape probably equally, but I think I'm going to do more Farscape cosplays because Crichton's costume is a really comfortable, just pants and a t-shirt. It's really comfortable.
Oh yeah, my majority of my costumes that I like to do or going to be doing, besides the one or two big things that I got planned, it's all casual costumes, easy, walk around. I know 3 of my costumes were like had leather jackets, but that was still casual. 2 fallouts.
Oh, and I just bought a bomber jacket too. I'm like, this is gonna be amazing because it's gonna look exactly like his flight jacket. I'm like,
I'm in Atlanta. It's hot.
Yeah. Wait, you dope, you dummy, and you're going to add a high altitude collar to it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. And I think Bill mentioned this when I spoke to him, that it's fine. You can just wear street clothes and have a prop, which is what he ended up doing. Because he built a whole suit of armor for that, and eventually he just went with the most impressive piece, which was the robot hand with lights and smoke and stuff.
Well, he was in his costume every day for a certain amount of time per thing he was doing with Plaid Cosplay Supply. I think that's what he is.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Okay, because they were trying to get in touch with me, but we'll see. Yeah. A lot of people try to get in touch with me, and you got to sort of, I got to vet everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or just be like me and Dragon Con, like, hey, you come with me. We're gonna follow these space wolves for a little bit. We're gonna talk.
Right.
It was like, I know you. You're from the YouTube channel that I watch when I get bored at work. Let's hang out for a minute. I know I'm a stranger, but we're in cosplay. We can talk.
Oh yeah. And I think we'd mentioned something about that too, because I did want to meet up with Grace from Zombies Props, but she is a police officer, and I
Yeah.
don't know how thrilled she is with my statements about gun safety on the channel, which I'm trying to do a public service, but it makes the police sound less than intelligent when I'm just making a blanket statement like the
Don't.
police will confuse this with a gun and you will die. But like if you say anything in halves,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to. I don't want somebody to think, oh, I can risk it, because no, you
No.
can't.
No, not really. Like the stuff that I walk around with, because some of my props that are they kind of look real. And
Mm-hmm.
last year at Dragon Con, I got stopped by a cop because I was in my Malcolm Reynolds coming back from a friend's.
Really, in the Reynolds costume.
Yeah, I had my belt and holster on, had the blaster in the holster. He's like, "Hey man, I need to stop you. I need to check this weapon, because make sure it's not real." It's like, "All good, man." Which is cool. It's like it's at a con, so they know a bunch of people carrying around fake weapons, but like at a con, like at my local con, that's not as big as like say Gen
Right.
Con or Dragon Con. The cops sees you walking around, you got a big gun, and they're gonna be like, see you in costume, they're kind of gonna know something's up. They're gonna wave you over, be like, "Hey, we need to check this out." But
Interesting.
if you're just walking down the street with a prop, not a good idea. Even during a con weekend, I can tell you a story about a friend who was going to go in a party in full costume and full tactical gear and prop guns, and ended up going the wrong way and ended up being surrounded by a ton of cops with a gun to his head on the floor or on the street. So,
Well, in today's era, in today's this is a sad truth about the time we're living in, but I definitely understand that today.
yeah, no,
But oh boy, I could tell you some stories that I'm not going to, because it will destroy people's careers.
yeah,
The stuff you get away with before there were good cameras and phones.
yeah, no. This wasn't like recent. This is several years ago. This happened to him, but
Oh, still though.
yeah, and even then, it's like, just as a normal safety, everybody should do. If you're a prop and costume maker and you're not going to a con and you're carrying around a prop, don't be surprised if a cop pulls up to you, but like, put your hands up, because if you're carrying around a prop weapon, rather it be a sword, a gun, big sci-fi looking blaster, anything, people are gonna flip out because people are weird. They like to call cops on people. Like there's a cosplayer not too long ago that was doing a photo shoot at a beach. She had a big, oversized sniper rifle that was a prop. Like got the cops called on her because somebody thought this half naked chick was walking around with a giant gun, which she was, but not really a gun. It was a prop.
That sounds to me more like like a conservative individual because if she was in a bikini, that's more like, hey, people are shooting some lewd activity in my upstanding neighborhood. I think that's less about the gun and more about the counterculture element.
Oh yeah, that too. But it's just practice good general gun safety in general. Even if you are a prop and costume maker, or you're a cosplayer carrying around any kind of prop weapon,
Oh yeah. I mean, I kind of get it with the Reynolds gun, because if it's holstered, it looks like a 6-shooter.
Oh yeah, and it's got wood grips on it and everything. It's I made that thing. It looks real.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about actually doing another one, because I bought one, and it was the movie version, not the TV version. And then I made a TV version, but eventually it broke, because So I have to make another one at some point.
Oddly enough, if you're not planning on making a video of it,
I'm not.
Bill from Punish Props, his 200,000 subscriber video, which I'm pretty sure you saw, was the Malcolm Reynolds blaster. He's got templates on his website that are free that you can download and refabricate it. I fabricated mine out of MDF wood, and I carved.
I love MDF.
I don't.
Really?
Yeah, it's well, MDF wood. It's a medium density fiberboard. It actually has formaldehyde in it, which is a toxic chemical. Also,
Oh yeah.
it's very dusty. My shop was covered in dust by the time I was done making the blaster. Besides, because I made the whole body out of MDF wood and some smaller bits out of acrylic and other materials, but I made the grips out of mahogany. So by the time I was done with that blaster, my shop was covered in wood dust.
Oh yeah, no, it'll do that. It'll disintegrate. But at this point, I've just accepted that I'm gonna die of foam lung disease. And personally, I don't want to. I don't want to be an old man. No, I'm serious. Like in 1,000 years, archaeologists are gonna be digging up my grave and they're gonna find a skeleton and a set of plastic lungs, like the imprints, the internal mold of a set of lungs from all the foam dust that I've inhaled. Because I did not know about wearing a respirator for the first. Hang on, 4 years of doing this. But no, and I don't want to be an old man, My grandpa's 90. The government took his driver's license. It's like,
oh shit.
The guy fought a war for you, and you're gonna take his driver's license? No. I've just accepted these chemicals are gonna kill me, and that's what I've made my peace with that. I've used MDF a lot before on movies, but you kind of have to just do exactly what they tell you. And if they tell you make 1 million tiles, you're not really going to get a good sense of what it is. Like if you don't get to do that exploratory prop making, exploratory carpentry, if you're a machine on an assembly line, you're not going to get a good sense of the wood. But I just made a knife out of MDF. It was a master for something that I'm making. And oh my God, I love it. Despite the mess, I love it. It's amazing. And I can tell you right now, my next Reynolds blaster, Liberty Hammer, I think it's called, is going to be mostly MDF. I think the trigger is going to be metal because I have a trigger mechanism left over from another build.
Yeah, I'm going to probably make another Reynolds blaster in here in the near future.
Oh, what's wrong with the one you got?
Nothing.
You just want to?
Yeah, well, my original plan was to have the magazine on mine is removable with a magnet. It pops in and out.
Oh, it's amazing.
But
thanks for the idea. Gonna write that down.
Yeah, you need to write that down, man. But also, I want an articulated trigger, because I've had experiences with friends with non-moving triggers.
Oh my God, I could tell you some stories about actors.
Yeah. Nah, but
so many broken triggers.
Because I got, I like doing mixed media stuff because I got my 3D printer, I got my basic model making skills that I could use, like working with the MDF and the acrylics and the other materials. But I kind of want to explore like milling out a blaster.
Okay.
Because I got a ton of aluminum. I can just stack aluminum and, screw it all together and mill it out, or just get a block of aluminum and just see what happens. But
what kind of tool you use? Like a lathe or like a CNC or what?
Pending, because I haven't really thought it out fully yet. I'll probably just drill out a bunch of pockets to a depth and just Dremel out the rest. I haven't really thought much into it, but I would like to do like a metal Reynolds blaster at some point, because
that'd be sweet.
Because I've dropped my MDF blaster a few times and
right.
I've broken the barrel off once or twice.
Oh my God! So that's actually that's why I'm doing it, because the one I bought, I dropped it and it was resin and it shattered. So I don't want to make one out of resin. And the one that I built, eventually the barrel broke off because I moved so many times, it got crushed. And that's the stress point.
Yeah.
So something you could do, which I don't know, I've never tested this, but people are apparently making foam gun replicas and then burying them in sand and melting a bunch of aluminum beer cans or whatever cans in a
it's sand casting.
Sand casting. So you think you want to sand cast that? Because that would be awesome.
That probably would be awesome. But now it's like a sand cast would be fine. because with the metalworking background that I do have with jewelry and stuff, cleaning up metal and polishing out perfect is not a big deal for me. But when you're doing sand casting like that, there's a lot of factors that go into that, as far as pore spouts and how how compacted the sand is and this and that. Because they're using extruded polystyrene, the XPS foam, and when you're making stuff out of XPS foam, it doesn't always get perfect.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, Andrew does that. The Frontline Trooper, the New Zealand guy.
Oh yeah. I know what that is.
His stuff looks amazing, but I think that's the only material he uses, and he's had years of experience on that. So because when I tried doing a blaster out of EPS, I was like, never again. I mean, not never again, but I have to do stuff that's gonna see a return on the investment right now.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was thinking. A metal blaster, because I don't have to have. I necessarily only need to mill out pockets for an articulated trigger and to slide a barrel in, and that's it. Everything else I can, besides the small milling things, like have to make a mill out a pocket or an external pocket holder for the barrel. I'm being really bad at explaining how this gun looks, but if you ever watched, I know you've seen it, but if anybody listened to this fucking thing ever watched it, they know what I'm talking about, hopefully. But just enough to have an articulated trigger to remove the mag and have a slot to put the barrel that I can hex screw it in, or with a set screw or something. Yeah.
God, I love that gun so much. Are you making the movie version or the TV version?
Oh, TV version, man. The mag looks way better on the TV version.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing. Because the one I think the original replica I built was movie version, just because it was less work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. But this next one's going to be the TV version.
Yeah, it's also one of those. It's one of those builds that I want to do, because I already have a build video on my Malcolm Reynolds blaster I did for Bill's video on my YouTube channel. It's basically like a small vlog video. It's like, hey, I did this. I'll be back after I do this. Then, so on and so forth. And I mixed it on my phone. It was bad. I should have done a better job at it, but, it's up there. It's whatever. But I want to do, if I do the metal blaster, I'll be make a video, a legit build video. It's hey, I'm making this again, but with metal, probably aluminum, because aluminum's a durable metal, but it's also very lightweight.
Oh yeah.
So that would be one of those heavy but not heavy props that you carry around at a convention or just have up on your shelf. I think where is my blaster? Oh, my Reynolds blaster is in my armory on a wall right now. Yeah, that's where that's at.
Mine's packed up right now. Well, the good one is packed up. The bad one is it's back in the workshop because I'm going to salvage some parts from it to make the new one.
Yeah, I got a 3D printed kit I bought off Etsy over there that it's all super warped and shit, so I can't do nothing with it. But I got files for a blaster I'll probably 3D print out at some point. Because next year, if it all works out right, when I do my Red Dead stuff, I can just switch out a few things, and I've got my Malcolm Reynolds, and I can do that again with better stuff.
Oh yeah, I think that may have been my first Dragon Con cosplay was Captain Reynolds.
Yeah, mine was Malcolm Reynolds and Fallout. Two Fallout costumes and Malcolm Reynolds.
Well, see, I think I did Reynolds and Star-Lord, but I quickly dropped the Star-Lord one so the costumes are very similar.
Yeah.
Right. As generic space hero, but I quickly dropped the Star-Lord one because that was my first experience in cosplay in Georgia, and even with the open parts of the helmet, it's awful in there.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Even when I was walking around, it's I did basic Malcolm Reynolds. I bought some khaki pants, I bought a wine red shirt, and I bought suspenders off of Think Geek that they were selling.
Nice.
that.
I just got regular suspenders, and I got the actually I got most of the cowboy stuff from like a cowboy clothing website. You know,
Yeah.
they weren't like a Firefly thing. They're just like a old timey ranch sort of thing, and that stuff worked great. It's just the the pants that he wears. There's no zipper on those. They're old timey pants with buttons.
Yeah, they are old 1800s Western style pants.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very common pant style back in the day, and it still is in England too, because they don't have belt loops. Sometimes I think, I'm probably butchering this statement, but Americans have pants with belt loops, and there are some British English pants that don't for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's fine.
I call it old timey clothes. I'm gonna be ordering some stuff from the Historical Emporium online. They do a lot of Victorian style clothing.
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna order the stuff for my Red Dead. The shirt, the vest, the pants, because I already got the boots. I got belts and holsters, but I'm gonna make a new set for my both my 3D printed pistols for the Red Dead. Then I'm probably gonna make a hat. Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Really?
Yeah, out of leather, because that's
okay.
It'd be fun. It'd be a fun build, and plus it'd be a good experiment working with leather for making headwear. Because I'm insane.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean you should branch out. I mean I should branch out, but like I said, I got to work with the products that I'm the materials that I'm most experienced with, if I'm being paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, clothing is a whole thing in and of itself. I think I'm gonna end up making a body form of myself just so I can make stuff that actually fits me.
Yeah, I got a commission that I'm probably picking up. I'm gonna be doing some Greek style armor for a friend of mine, so she's sending me a body form.
Nice.
For C2E2. It's a really simple build. It's basic armor. Just the adding the detail onto the armor is probably going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I'll probably just either draw it on the armor and in like hot knife it out, or I'll sculpt it and some foam clay stick it on there. I'm just not sure what I'm doing yet.
Well, not having seen it, I couldn't give you any advice. My first my go-to would be heat hot knifing it.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna do. Or depending on, but like, I'm gonna tell her like, hey, realistically, this armor, what you're going for, let's just make it look like old brass armor, because that's Greek style, brass and bronze. So it's like, let's make this look like legit. We don't need a bunch of fucking details on there, because one, I'm cutting you a deal in labor because he's a friend of mine, but I also don't want to put something out there that I'm not going to be proud of, as far as like a full armor set, custom armor set for somebody.
Yeah, no, and that's another thing with the lightsaber commission I was telling you about earlier. It's like, I know you guys have a following, but I'm gonna need some kind of financial compensation for that.
Yeah, especially if like the what I like to call the Utila saber.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much. So I'm willing to suspend my rage, because this is the same thing everyone said about Kylo's saber when we first saw it, and that turned out to be awesome. Yeah. So I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe there's
something to it. Yeah, I think last time we determined that it's that scene is a Force vision.
That's my best guess. I'm just surprised they would do another one after because they seem to be following beat by beat the story points, and that was an Empire thing. Why would they be doing it in whatever this movie's called.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi, but not.
I say as long as at the end of the movie, like what I would only assume that obviously like all hero movies like that, they beat the bad guy, blah blah blah, victory, yay, movie's ending, and I would love this because I knew this was supposed to be a thing. That if you just hear Jar Jar Binks in the background saying Misa, the whatever, the fucking Sith Lord or whatever, and like very low ambient background noise, and be like, ah shit, I knew it. So Misa the Dark Lord. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, yeah, but they're never gonna do it.
Oh, I know, but I wish they would because that would just make me so happy inside because I know everybody hated Jar Jar Binks. I did. I thought it was annoying, but if you listen to some interviews around the time, said George Lucas was saying that Jar Jar Binks is the answer or something along those lines.
Yeah, no, I've heard that he's like a secret Sith Lord, and if you look at if you pay attention to him in certain scenes in Phantom Menace, he's like mouthing the same words as something that actors are saying, like implying he's Jedi mind tricking them.
Oh yeah,
he's just playing a stooge. But I think I would be much happier if there was a casual nod to like him as a street performer, because supposedly that was his fate in Legends.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
I have to keep up with all the minutia of Star Wars because, like, I build the props, and if I get some information wrong, I'm gonna hear about it. Like, I just did a video on a cryo chamber, and I did this long list of all the franchises I could think of with cryo chambers.
Yeah. And
people are writing in the comments section, excuse me, you forgot about Futurama and the 100, and it's like. I know I tried to forget about the 100, but you've reminded me, so great.
I don't think the 100 had any cryo chambers.
I don't remember.
At least from the first few seasons that I saw that, because I haven't watched it in a couple seasons, but as far as I know, there's no cryo chambers unless they just added some crazy thing in.
I don't know. I bailed after. I think the first episode of season 2. It's just so scientifically inaccurate. It bugs me. I can't get over certain things.
Yeah, well, that's a standard TV show. It's like, oh, that science doesn't make any sense. Like
it's a try. Put some effort into writing.
Because just by some knowledge of the effects of space on human beings, generations down the line, if people living in space, their bones would be hollow.
Mm-hmm.
They would not be able to live on the gravity of Earth because of how they evolved in space and adapted to space environment. Them coming to Earth would be like detrimental to their health.
Yep, unless it was a spin station, but I forget. It would have to be a massive spin station for that to work, and I don't.
Yeah, I just the suspense of disbelief that I get from some of those things, I just try to like ignore it. So because like if I don't, I just gonna make myself angry.
What I do now that I've actually worked on a few movies is I go, this is somebody's job. This is not just somebody's job. This is hundreds of people's jobs. This paid for many kids' tuitions and many people's rent. And the problem that I'm having is like one writer who assumes I'm an idiot. So don't rage about it because you don't want to create the bad PR that could cost someone their job.
Oh yeah, it's like
but sometimes, ooh,
it's like I wrote this scene. I know what I'm talking about, and like it's something about like I actually know about this thing, and I know you're totally wrong, but I'm gonna patronize you and make you think you're correct when I know you're not, because you write TV and I don't.
Yeah,
I just make stuff from those things. That's what I do. Though, I kind of wish that movie I was working on would start back up again because I know a whole lot more now. That would be awesome to make.
Oh yeah, I was doing some movie, like an H.G. Wells type thing, and it was an independent, and he ran out of money, so I mean, he's still working on it, but I can't do any work on it if he doesn't have the budget.
Oh yeah.
But like he wanted to build a whole spaceship set, and that's what I want to do. Like I want to be building 1-to-1 scale spaceships. So I'd love it if you could find a budget.
You're right.
Because especially after the cryo chamber, that I just built, that's supposed to be like the prototype of all the spaceships that I'm gonna build.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully some people who have some cash will see that.
Yeah, my friend, he was making a Power Ranger movie, fan film. If I remember correctly, it would be like a feature length fan film, and I was gonna do the Goldar armor for the actor, but it was gonna be like Space Samurai Goldar, and I had the build plotted out in my head, and it was gonna look pretty cool. I had it all drafted out, but knowing what I know now, that costume would be way better than what I could have done back then.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I kind of wish he would go back to making this movie, because I would add in more traditional samurai armor making, along with like the weird like sci-fi, incorporating the old Power Ranger TV show Goldar armor into that. I think would be pretty badass.
Yeah, no, it would. I believe you.
Yeah, I was supposed to do a putty armor as well. Which will actually lead me into a small little tangent, but I was gonna make them out of foam. What I would do now is I would make them out of foam clay and sculpt them, then make them molds, then cast foam masks out of foam clay out of a silicone mold.
You'd use that as the master for a mold?
Yeah, you could. You can mold. You can mold foam.
See, I've never tried that because I'm always concerned that as the silicone heats up, it's going to change the shape of the foam.
Yeah. That can happen, but if you do thin layers at a time, you can build silicone up more and more, so it won't be so hot when it's curing, because only thing silicone sticks is to itself. But I would use what I would do is I would probably get a bust or order a bust offline of a standard general male head, then sculpt it out of some HD foam clay by my friend SKS Props, and let that cure, then mold that, then demold it, pull out all the things, and I would press in more, foam clay into that, let it cure, blah blah blah, or get some what am I thinking of? Not polylatex. I don't know. Probably like latex skin it, then back it with some squishy foam or something. But if I was gonna go that route, I would probably just sculpt it out of clay, then do all that. I'm trying to very crappily segue into how my friend Steve's foam is badass.
Yeah, no, he's making some new products, and I gotta test them out. It's just I got some new foam up in Canada. I gotta try that first. Is he doing cylindrical EVA?
Oh yeah, he has foam dowels.
Okay, because I gotta compare his to TNT. I just got some foam dowels, and I love them so much. Yeah. I think I showed them in the last video.
Yeah, I did a podcast with Steve at Dragon Con, which will be coming out after New York Comic Con, because we talked about some things that I can't talk about until after New York Comic Con. No, but with his foam, it's HD foam. You can find it on sksprops.com. It's high density EVA foam, good for prop and costume making, as we discussed last time. But his foam dowels, he's got a variety of them, from like round, square, triangle dowels. Totally worth checking out, because you get a lot of cool little details with the different variety of foam dowels that he's got. So,
yeah.
Because with your last build video with your crowd chamber, you used foam dowels from TNT, I believe. With the HD foam dowels, they're the higher density foam, so it'd be more rigid than what the TNT foam would do.
I mean, the TNT is pretty rigid, but
Oh yeah,
it all depends on what you're like. If you were going to use it, if you're going to use it for a hilt, I wouldn't want to use the TNT stuff for a hilt,
no,
uh, or even a gun barrel. And I do like the idea of a foam gun barrel,
yeah.
you know.
Well, as long
But
as
it's
it
something to experiment with.
well, if you're gonna make it like a gun barrel out of like EVA foam, what you could do, obviously use the round dowel foam. You can cut either. I would just cut it slightly in half, open it up, put like a piece of bracing, like a wood
Yeah.
dowel or a metal dowel in there, just to hold its shape, which will work just fine. Or you can do if you find you can get a small diameter or circumference PVC pipe, then wrap that in foam with like 2 millimeter.
Yeah, that's another option.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm experimenting with different products right now, and
yeah. I've experimented with a few different products, and I can confidently say online that that I'm pretty happy with the density and quality of HD foam, which will possibly lead me to only using that until something better comes up. Because of all the foams that I've used, I really like the HD foam.
well, how's the price compare with the floor tiles that everyone gets?
Oh well, either it is more expensive than the foam floor mat, but with that being said, foam floor mats $10 for a pack of 6 little things, but it's textured. But with the HD foam, you can get packs, uh, like heavy armor, light armor packs with different thicknesses of foam than the foam dowels. I think my first order was like $60 with for like two like I think it was 2, 5, or 6 and 10 millimeter foams rolls, which I think one rolls I think is like $12-13, I think, if I remember correctly. Probably
Oh,
not.
that's not bad.
No, it's not. For the price, it's good. But with some of the stuff coming up, it's gonna be it's gonna be awesome. Once you find out what's going on, you'll agree with me that it's worth it.
Yeah, no, I gotta try it out because I need some larger circumference or just larger surface area foam because that cryo chamber that I built is actually just the core of a much larger prop,
Yeah.
and I can't really. I think I skinned it with ram board,
Yeah.
and I can't really get the curvature that I need
Yeah.
with ram board. So those parts are going to be foam, and they've got to be a larger surface area than the floor tiles.
See, now I know TNT has some pretty thick foam, like 2-inch thick foam sheets or blocks that would be good for larger, solid props.
Well, no, I don't mean like they don't have to be all the way through. I just need they can be like the width of a floor mats or
10 millimeter.
even 10 or even the 6 millimeter stuff. I just need a larger surface area.
If you're gonna do larger surface area, I would go with the 10 mil HD foam because it's gonna hold its shape pretty well. Even if you did use 10 mil TNT foam or the Yayahan cosplay foam, 10 mil thickness on any foam is actually pretty good, depending on its thickness or what is that? What was he talking about?
Try and remember through the drunken haze.
I wasn't. I was actually sober during that podcast. I'm just trying to remember what he's. A shore hardness of the foam. Most foams are shore hardness of 36. With the HD foam, it's a little more because it's more. It's a higher It's got a higher density than other standard foams out there. But 10 millimeter foam on anything, rather be. I would say TNT or HD foam 10 mil. If you're skinning something like that, would work fine. I do believe that if you were to use the HD foam and you like heat sealed it and sanded it afterwards, it would probably react a little bit better than TNT. But that's pretty much your preference with how you want to do that.
Right. Well, I'm gonna do some test sheets before I try and
Oh yeah,
do
for sure.
something that large.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't want to waste the money on the foam to build something that you're not going to be happy with. You want to make sure you're buying what you want to use it with, as long as cost effective and it does what you want.
Right.
So there's my very, very small, crappy tangent on HD foam and other
No,
foams.
no, it's helpful. I mean,
Yeah.
I love learning new information that will make my life easier.
Yeah. Well, for prop and costume making, anything out of foam is just easy because you can make anything. You can make everything out of Warbler if you want to wrap all your stuff in $20 bills, as my friend would say. But also, because I was watching your cryo chamber build, because you did the frame out of wood,
right?
Then you wrapped it in this like a thick cardboard material.
It's more like a thinner cardboard material. That was ram board.
Yeah.
Which is all that's necessary for a visual thing. I'm thinking about reskinning it in ABS, as large sheets of ABS.
Yeah.
But for the chamber, like this standing set piece that the actor knows not to lean against the walls, yeah, that works. And people do that for a lot of large props as well. There's I know a guy, spoken online. That's the extent I know the guy, who's doing a Jedi Starfighter. I believe he's skinning it in ram board.
Right on. Yeah, I haven't delved much into large props. The only large prop I own is a TARDIS that I bought from a makerspace. It's disassembled into various parts between my front foyer and my shop. Because when I reassemble it, I got to remake a few things on it. Then I got to completely make the whole top to it because it was in a basement and it was their storage closet that just happened to be a TARDIS. So probably in the next couple of years, I'm going to be making a TARDIS from scratch, just having that as my reference for size, which will be fun.
Oh yeah.
Everybody needs one.
Yeah, no, well, like I said, I'm planning on doing, I would like to do large props for a living, but then they become my source of income. I'd end up, in order to make a living off of them, you have to take them around to conventions and things.
Yeah, I got a friend, Brazen Monkey Productions. You've probably seen pictures all over, but he does large sculpts. He did that he takes to cons. He did a large sculpt of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, where people could sit on it and take pictures. He built a bunch of foam prop weapons people can wear for the picture. When the last movie came out, he made a Light Fury statue-esque thing you could sit on and take pictures with.
I haven't seen it, but I've
I'll
seen something like that. I don't know if he's the one who built it, but I may have seen his work.
He also built a life-size Iron Giant head and hand that you can stand on.
Oh, nice. Where's that?
I don't know where that's. It's probably. I would assume right now it's probably either at a con or in his shop. But I'll send you his page info.
All right, cool.
It's worth checking out. He does a lot of old school stuff, which is kind of cool. He's also a very good friend of mine. One of those con circuit people you meet that happen to live in the same town I live in.
Wacky.
I was like, oh, I know you. Oh, you live 5 minutes from me, or something like that. I know it's a little more than that, but that was just an ambiguous number I threw out there.
No, I got you.
Yeah. So, I know we mentioned at the beginning, you've got your YouTube channel, and you were a host of the Backyard Effects for a while for Indie Mogul. Do you have any further plans for your channel to try to expand or revamp or anything like that?
I mean, I'm expanding right now, but it's sort of when you're doing a prop making show, uh, that's a lot of work. It's a 40-hour work week to build a prop before you even get into the editing.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting ad revenue is at this point it's kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Because more people come on to the platform thinking, I'm going to be the next YouTube celebrity. YouTube has a finite amount of money for advertising.
Yeah.
And that amount of money is not increasing. So it's more people taking from the same pot. So ad revenue is only decreasing.
Oh, yeah. That's why you rely on your patrons and donations and stuff like that, like a lot of people do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you have some major life expense and you can't make videos for a while, like when I had some equipment failure that took a month to resolve, people just bailed. I lost a bunch of patrons, and that was it. That basically would have killed the channel right then and there. But I was able to bounce back from it after a little while. So I'm trying to become less of a YouTuber who makes props and more of a prop maker who promotes on YouTube. Yeah. And in that sense, I'm expanding the work that I do off of YouTube, because that pays so much better, and it ends up helping the channel, because I can, I sort of look at YouTube as the advertising wing of my business, right?
Oh, yeah. So
I can use some of the funding, some of the profit from the jobs that I do off of YouTube to pay for the equipment repair and, buying better equipment. Yeah. And then I can produce better videos, and then I get more patrons, which helps in its own right. But now my future plans are basically just to produce more actual products and do more gigs, and that will in turn help the channel, because I love that people are willing to watch the show, but if they can't support the show, then I can't put 40 hours of work into a project where I'm only going to get compensated for 8.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable too, but trying to do the whole YouTube monster can be a big pain in the ass if you want to be monetized, because they're constantly changing monetization and all that. And I know with my channel, like I've stated previously, I don't monetize my channel mainly because I'm only doing this as a hobby, because I got
there'd really be no point for you right now, like unless you did a video that went viral, then you'd really want to. But no, I wouldn't deal with it, because like anything that like the ads at the beginning of the video, that's a deterrent. People could tab away, and you don't want to prevent people from watching your work. So, for me, I have to run the ads, but the patrons aren't going to see the ads, because they're supporting me more than their view would support me in terms of the ad. And even when the videos do go live, I don't put the pre-roll ads for the first, 1,000 views, because I would rather people see it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
After a certain amount of time, though, I gotta monetize it if I'm gonna earn a living or any kind of compensation from it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Besides, trying to get sponsors and having to do like the small sponsor spot in the middle of your video or the beginning or the end.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that it would help me so much if I would just take on certain sponsors, but I'm not going to promote a sponsor that I don't believe in, and I don't believe in MeUndies or Sherry's Berries. Like I'm not gonna. No, I'll advertise somebody's phone if they're willing to pay me. I did a video on the Neva because they sent me a 3D printer.
Yeah.
You know, you send me something that I can use that relates to what I do. I'm not gonna pander to these. No,
Yeah.
not doing it.
No, you shouldn't have to pander to certain companies just because they throw some money at you. Because some of the people that I know who do sponsor stuff, I know some of them I know how much they get per thing. Some of them I don't. But it's like with this monster, this shitty podcast that I do. Eventually, I want to turn it into a business, and I'll have to pick up sponsors and stuff like that. But it's also got to be something that's both brand friendly, but also something that's worth being partnered with. Because I'm not gonna, like this episode is brought to you by Fleshlight, and I'm like that. No, that's no.
Yeah, no. As another thing, you can't do anything with adult entertainment because that's just that. No, that'll blacklist you.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine. She's like, you can make a lot of money in the sex industry, and I'm like, that's a lot of money that I don't really care to have.
Yeah, well, it's like for how long too? Like, how long is that money gonna last you when you can no longer do it, and no one's gonna hire you because they know where you used to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like because I do a lot of leather work and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's like,
that'll do it.
You can make some money, but like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. I like making props from movies and games because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now
there's a steampunk guy who did that, and I found out it's like, oh, okay. Well, I better not mention you in any of my videos because it's don't want to be affiliated.
Not to say that somebody pays me.
Not to disparage anyone's life choices. It's just
no, not by any means. It's all about how you want to present yourself in the industry that you're part of. Now, it's not saying that somebody comes up with me like, "Hey, I kind of want some leather products. Here's a lot of money." I'd be like, "If one-offs, boy, okay. I don't really care what you're doing with it. I don't really want to know. If you want some leather stuff made, by all means, I'll make it for you. But I'm not gonna like do a 180 and turn that into my whole business because that's not what I'm about."
Yeah, no, I got you. So no, circle back.
That's a whole segment probably could have been avoided if I could catch my words.
Yeah. But I mean, everyone has to deal with these sponsors. Like we had spoken about comedians. Bill Burr does a podcast, and he does all those. He panders the sponsors, but he doesn't adjust his performance to the sponsors, and he loses people because he says some stuff.
Yeah, I like Burr. We were talking about comedians because I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. He's the guy who kind of inspired me to do a podcast. But also, it's like I could see myself doing what he does, not exactly what he does, but along the lines of like long form conversations with makers of all kinds, really. Because I like talking with people about making stuff because it's fun.
Yeah.
However long this podcast will last, Granted, this is be episode 12, and by the time New York Comic Con comes out, there'll be 15 total, and probably 16 after that. I'm probably going to be recording another one this weekend with a friend, a leatherworker I work with. Until the pool dries up after I've talked to everybody, then I'll probably come up with another idea and do that.
Yeah. But sorry, faded for a second there. But no, I try not to put to circle back to, I try not to put all my eggs in one basket, and I already did that with the YouTube thing. I built a chopper when that was brand new, and I thought that was going to go viral, and it didn't. And it was kind of eye-opening about how ad revenue is not ever going to be something that I can really rely on. And since then, I've been diversifying my income, and it's kept me out of debt, which is fantastic. But no, if I can really, circle way back and answer your question, I'm working on ways to improve my business that are going to make everyone happy. And they're not necessarily obvious, like invest everything into one crazy, awesome video that's exactly what people want to see, because I know that's not going to be a return on my investment.
Yeah.
And, you'll have one awesome video and then the channel will just die.
Yeah, everybody wants to see those little robots you build. That's what they want to see. The little,
what is that?
The
the DRDs.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, I went to Dragon Con and that was the audience that wanted to see them. If you'll notice, that's not my most successful video ever, because it's from a random TV show.
Yeah.
But I can sell those, and those will fund the next 6 months of Star Wars videos, which is what my audience wants to see. So, that's like an example.
You seem to get lumped into the whole Star Wars side of making with most of your YouTube videos that I've seen recently.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's what people are watching.
Yeah.
And I don't ever get sick of it.
No, it's like with me with Fallout stuff, man. I can make Fallout stuff for the rest of my life and be okay with it, or I could talk about Fallout props and costumings forever.
Oh yeah.
Because one of my first main builds that when I started out with was the NCR Veteran Ranger helmet that I tried making out of cardboard, failed, tried again, failed, then found Peppercura, then went from there, and now I got this legit looking helmet that I have to cast soon.
Oh, so you actually did that out of Peppercura and not foam?
Yeah, from the last the helmet in my last photo shoot I did with my Ranger armor, that whole helmet, the bottom portion, mask and tail, is all fiberglass, resin, and Mondo. The helmet portion itself is a cast resin because I bought a World War II Army helmet from Russia.
Nice.
And then I forged down the sides a little bit, cut some parts off, then molded it, which I need to...
So like a Russian helmet, or...
Yeah, Russian Army helmet, standard infantry. You can get them on Amazon all day long, oddly enough.
Yeah, I try not to purchase military stuff on Amazon, but I have the benefit of living in New York State, where you can find anything.
Yeah.
At a thrift shop or
oh yeah, man,
a estate sale. So I found some stuff. It's oh boy. It's like, what do you do? Where'd you get a Stahlhelm from? From any thrift store, because this is where all the spoils of war ended up.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything, Jesus.
Yeah, I found a few things at thrift stores that were worth getting, but no, mostly like for like weird, odd stuff, like army bag pouches for mags.
Mm-hmm.
Gun shows, man. Gun shows is where it's at.
Yeah.
You can find some cool stuff at a gun show, and I have.
I'll bet. Yeah, I'll bet you would. I was living in Canada for a little while, so not really an option up there.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, I need to do more old stuff like that for like Fallout. I like making stuff look old.
Oh yeah, and Fallout and Star Wars both are great franchises for that. Because like I said earlier, if you make a mistake, you can cover it up and it'll still look
hide your crimes.
Right.
Yeah, hide your crimes with weathering or rust or whatnot. All the things, man. When you make all the things and make all the videos.
Yeah, no, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to make all of the things that I want to before I die,
Yeah.
Because I've got this list of videos to make, and it's from suggestions and requests and stuff that I'd like to do and all that. And, I'll knock off one thing, and in that week I've gotten 80 requests. So, I have to make some tough choices.
Yeah. I got it.
Oh, I just made a prop for I just made a grail. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'd love
Yeah.
to do a tutorial for this, but the patrons are gonna. I might lose some people because it's a cup, you
Yeah.
know. So I'll probably end up doing that as a mini DIY.
Yeah. Be a quick little short 5-minute build video or something.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this is how you make a cup.
No, no. This is how you make the Holy Grail. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And I am so glad I did that. It's like the simplest thing ever, but it looks amazing.
Yeah.
The cup of the carpenter.
I was like, oh, wait, this ain't the Holy Grail. You disappear.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was I wanted to do like a the skeleton effect, but it comes back into if you spend too much time on it, then you're eating up your funding. So I think just you'd smoke, some smoke and a little bit of dust covers it.
Yeah, isn't there like I would imagine there's some like stock footage from Indiana Jones that's free, it's fair use that you could use. Of the dude
No,
melting.
nope, that's not. I mean, I could find bad resolution footage and get away with it. It's just, I'm not going to take a chance on certain things because you'd be surprised what is copywritten, also what isn't. Because I don't know if you've seen the last Mad Max movie, but there was a blood spatter effect in that movie that is like the cheapest free effect. It's in my YouTube videos, and I saw that. Like, oh man. Right. I love every frame of this movie except for the 3 where I can see that effect that I've used in my YouTube videos in 2009.
Right, like how hard is it to make blood splatter? You take some fucking red paint, you throw it against the wall, voila, you got blood splatter.
Right, but then you think, well, you got to pay a whole film crew for at least a day, and it's thousands of dollars to get a new asset. Yeah, and that's why we see those things.
Get that perfect 3-second blood splatter. It's going to cost $3,000.
Yeah. Or just manipulate this free stock effect and know that no one will notice that except for people who have edited it before, which includes William Jakespear.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my curse.
It's like, oh, I know what that's from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God! And every time I hear the Wilhelm scream, I just want to murder every sound editor on the planet. It's like you're not being clever. I've heard that in 1,000 movies. You took me out of the moment.
Yeah.
I can no longer cry at Dante's Peak. Remember Dante's Peak?
It's been
with Sarah Connor and James Bond.
Oh man, it's a while.
Remember Spacebot?
Jesus. Been a minute.
Yeah. No. It's been a while.
Yeah, man, I know it's getting late, and I know I've probably taken up a lot of your time already, but I'm going to get to the fucking point of this podcast. I'm going to ask you the same fucking question is, why do you do what you do?
Because I can't not. I could take another podcast answering that question. It's, I can't really work retail, and it's nothing against people who work retail. It's just, it's not a good use of a life.
Yeah.
People are gonna take that the wrong way. Whatever,
I can't work retail either, man. I work repair, and I have to deal with retail people. I get it. Screw that shit, man.
It's the worst. And again, nothing against them because they have to deal with some BS.
Oh yeah.
But I can turn fantasy into reality. I have to be able to make that I would rather put something physical into the world than just punch a clock,
Yeah.
And also, I just love what I do. So, I can make anything. Why would you want to do anything else?
Right. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, man.
We were sitting here, and I just printed an X15.
It's so nice to be able to push a button and just walk away.
Oh yeah, and while we were I was building a movie robot from a show I used to watch as a kid, and building 2 movie robots because I have to wait for certain things to cool off before working. Yeah, no, I love this.
What was that driving factor, man? What was that fucking kick in the ass that like made you want to start making things?
Oh, geez, I don't know, because you're like asking me like to remember the 1990s,
Like anybody remembers the 1990s.
And when I started that, like I said, I didn't know about safety equipment and respirators.
Yeah.
So I'd build these rockets and I'd paint them with the rattle cans. And in retrospect, I was definitely getting high off of that rattle can paint. So like I physically can't remember that far back. I don't know. I guess I just saw stuff on
Huffing
TV.
too much paint, man.
Yeah, right. No, I think I killed a certain number of brain cells there. And it's like, that was not the funnest way I could have done that.
Probably not.
I would much rather wear a respirator, which is why I talk about safety in my videos. But I think it's just watching something amazing, more amazing than my mundane life on television and going, oh, wait, I can do that. It's not impossible. Let's give it a shot. If I fail, I'll still learn something new, and at least I can say that I did it,
Yeah.
And I've accomplished everything that I've set out to accomplish that way, so I don't see any reason to change the way I'm living my life. I built a freaking spaceship on Star Trek, What more is there? I won in life. That's why I do this, and why I'll never do anything else.
Yeah, I'm gonna maybe at that one point when I win, when I can, not work a corporate job and do what I like to do and pay for my living. That'd be pretty sweet.
We're not all like gifted with the same circumstances, and if you look at Bill Duran, who's killing it right now.
Oh yeah.
He worked a boring office job for I want to say 5 years and saved up his money, and then just dropped everything and decided I'm going to be a prop maker. And he did not make a profit for, what was it, 2 years?
Yeah, something like that.
It was at least a year. I don't know. He explained it once in a video I watched 4 years ago. I don't know. So he built up that nest egg, invested in this, and it took a decade to pay off.
Yeah.
But it did pay off. So
yeah.
that's what you got to think about.
And, it's different for somebody like me. Like, I'm a single parent. I got to make sure my kids got insurance and all that shit. So if I do, like, say, turn this podcast into a business, it's got to be, like, bringing in, like, sponsors or this or that. So I can, like, afford to buy insurance and
I'm not saying drop everything. And I said, we have, people are born with different privilege. No one is relying on me, and thank God, holy, wow, just the bullets I dodged. It's just, I may have seen some of them because I've been making videos for a decade. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Go down memory lane. I'm gonna watch all my YouTube videos again. Oh dear God, what have I done?
No, you gotta curate your collection because, like I said, people dredge up stuff from your past, and it's like, that girl who's maybe being less than politically correct. Maybe I'm gonna unlist that video until we're out of this. Whatever we're in right now. But no, it's you gotta have a plan and meet financial goals, and then take the risk when you can afford to fail.
Yeah, having a kid was never really the goal. It was just happened. I decided, this is happening now, so this is what I'm gonna do. And my kid's pretty fucking cool, I will say so. My kid dual wields lightsabers, so
that's
kind of hard to beat that awesomeness right there. Plus, I got a tiny human I can make costumes for now, so it's like,
yeah, and that kid's gonna have an awesome childhood because his dad can build anything he wants.
Oh yeah. He's 4 now, so I think for Halloween coming, I might make him a set of armor. I'm not sure yet, depending on what week Halloween falls on, and if he's with me or his mother that week. So
right.
But I make cool stuff. He's constantly trying to get into my props and costume stuff. Like, when I got home today, he's like, he followed me into my armory, which my room's connected to, and he's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's a helmet." And he's like, "A helmet?" And tries to pick it up. Is like, I know you can probably put that on and be cool, but I don't want you picking it up right now.
Yeah, there was this kid at Dragon Con who was trying to put on my helmet, and it's like, I don't think you want to do that because it's not comfortable in there.
Yeah, my kid likes putting on helmets that my friends made at a pop. I took him to a PopCon here in Indy, the last one, and he stole my friend's Nord helmet. Aegis Studios, he's worth checking out. He's a pretty cool dude. He's a newer maker, but he's been doing some cool stuff. He stole his. My kid stole his Nord helmet and his Wolfrad axe. Put on the helmet, held the axe, and just stood there, looking like a little badass.
Nice.
Then my friend Vanguard Props had a synth field helmet that he painted up with the bomber paint job from Fallout 4. So it had like the skull or like the shark teeth on it, and he took that helmet, put it on, was just like holding his hands up like he was laughing hysterically because the helmet had teeth.
Yeah, no, sounds like he's having fun.
Yeah, my kid's cool. He's a little sick right now. You know, this is what happens when kids go to school. Like, they get sick because other kids get sick because parents like to send their kids to school sick. Then you get sick because your kid got sick because some parents sent their kid to school sick.
Yeah.
And that parent probably got that kid sick. I don't know. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, I hear you. I lost like 6 weeks of work this winter because of whatever that thing was that was going around.
Yeah, it's no good, man. So we're gonna very, very fastly, or quickly, because fast, that was the wrong word to use. Very quickly.
It's approaching 1 a.m.
Yeah,
they can bear with.
Yeah, we're gonna slightly visit advice. Any kind of advice you'd give a newer maker or somebody wanting to get into the prop and costume or movie industry?
Prop costume, or well, first of all, most importantly about the film industry is movies only shoot for 2 to 8 weeks. So despite the amazing paycheck, you're only employed for 2 to 8 weeks. So, don't like put all your eggs in that basket necessarily. Maybe try to get in with your local chapter of IATSE, which is the film union. But yeah, you build up the skills before you attempt that. And I would try to be a prop maker aside from the film industry. Like build up a name for yourself and a reputation for yourself before you do that. And about just being a prop maker in general, it's gonna be hard work, but you have to see it through to the end, even if it doesn't come out exactly like what you want to do or the image you had in your head, because every mistake you make is a learning experience, and you want to make that mistake on your own time rather than when someone has hired you to make something. And with each project, you're going to get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better until finally, you actually have much more experience than someone who's never tried to build something before. Like, what I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel is eliminate that comment that I constantly hear just in real life. Oh, I have no artistic talent. Yeah, I can't draw. It's not a genetic thing. It's a learned skill. You have to try, you have to fail, you have to keep trying. Each attempt gets a little bit better, and then finally you can do something. It takes a while. Stick with it. If we can sum that up, I'm going to say stick with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've been following me as long as you have, you've seen like my earliest work versus my current work. My Kylo Ren helmet is huge, but I finally got it down to the right size with the Knights of Ren helmet, and now my helmets fit.
I just had like the perfect idea for you for a costume. Do a mashup of Kylo Ren and Spaceballs.
Okay. All right, Darth Helmet or Lord Helmet.
Yeah,
I gotta watch that again. Ah, so good.
yeah. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu right now. I think.
I I went to a lecture by Mel Brooks, and he's just amazing. Somebody asked him, "Where did you get your ideas for Springtime for Hitler?" And he's like, I got my ideas from World War II. Because he was in World War II. I think he might have been part of the Ghost Battalion, which I don't know if you know. They were artists, and their whole idea was to fake. Their whole premise was to they would fake troop movements. It was espionage. It was primitive
Yeah.
espionage, and they would like play recordings of army movements
Yeah.
in the woods. So, but yeah, no, Mel Brooks is awesome.
Yeah. What was that? You probably is this. You said that Springtime for Hitler, then it made me think of that movie of these two guys doing making a stage play
They were making a stage play that they
for
planned
Springtime.
on bombing, so that they could make the money back in. I don't know. It's like insurance or stock or something. It was
Yeah.
called The Producers.
Oh, the producers, yeah, it's like because you said that and the song started playing in my head. It's like Springtime for Hitler in Germany, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I like that was just weird. Just fucking hit me like, wow, that was hilarious. I haven't seen it in a while.
Right? It's like the guy dressed as Ronin warriors, you know?
Yeah.
That's what that is for me.
Yeah.
That's what my DRD was to all the scapers who watched TV in the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was from a great Mel Brooks comedy called The Producers. He's like the original raunchy comic filmmaker.
Yeah.
And it's people think of old films as having class, and yes, but they could also be amazing. So if anyone's going to take that out, if any more millennials than me, younger people than me are, because I'm technically a millennial, are going to take that out of context and freak out.
Yeah.
There's a film called The Producers. It's very famous. It's about people trying to make an offensive play that is going to fail so they can make the money back in. I really want to say stock, but I'm not a computer. I don't recall every detail.
Yeah.
You check it out. It's amazing.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably old enough to remember The Producers.
Or Blazing Salad.
Blazing
Saddles.
Oh God, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles, which will never be played on television again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to watch nowadays. Like,
Yep.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but man, trying to watch that nowadays is like, god damn.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just can't sit through that. And I'm not the type of person who gets offended over weird shit like that. It's just hard to watch in general.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. All right, man.
Like I said, you have to make the mistakes in order to succeed.
Yeah. Oh, it's just politically incorrect movies from back in the day that we could talk about for hours.
Mm-hmm.
So many jokes that I could come up with that would probably should not be recorded on a podcast of this nature.
No. The only way you could get away with it is if you were doing a watch along and you had the movie going and you were doing your own MST3K commentary, so that they can see that it's a film that existed
Back
before your commentary.
Yeah, that's for a different time and a different YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh wow!
All right, man. So next year when I see you at Dragon Con, you better be in Lord Kylo. Or, it's fucking late. I can't even say Kylo. Yeah, Lord Kylo.
Honestly, I think you would just say Lord Kyle, and people would get it. But
probably
Darth Helmet, with the coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be funny. That'd be worth doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just make it out of foam, man. Just make it out of some foam.
Yeah, get somebody to cosplay Dot Matrix.
Right.
Oh my god, that joke is so old. I'm gonna watch Spaceballs now.
Yeah, go watch Spaceballs, man.
All right.
Yeah. So this is how this episode lines up. It will technically not, but technically it would be the first line of 4 Dragon Con podcasts. Seeing how is like the first podcast we did failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
As sometimes happens, but the next 3 episodes will be actually recorded at Dragon Con with Odin Makes with the next episode. Then Dapperweight Cosplay. Then after that would be SKS Props. I'm going to stagnant release these like a week and a half at a time or a week at a time, because
that's smart.
The podcast I did with SKS Props cannot release till after New York Comic Con for reasons, but also
NDAs.
Yay! Well, not really an NDA. It's more of a hey.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I don't talk about a lot of the stuff that I build. So I get
it. It's friend NDAs. You know how it is, man. We got friends who work in the movie industry that they're like, hey, here's this thing I made. It's really badass, but you can't tell anybody because it's for this thing. You know, it's like, that's dope. I want to eventually maybe be one of those guys like, I did this thing. I can't tell you, but I did this thing, and I'll tell you about it in like a week. It's because it's so badass. All right. Okay, well, thanks for listening to this long-winded, not very well-structured episode of the Origin of the Maker podcast. Mainly because it's like late, and you know, it's how it goes. Troubleshooting things and
is how it is. It's like prop making.
Yeah.
You run into unexpected problems, you learn to solve them, you are a better maker for it.
Yeah. And hopefully soon I'm going to be upgrading the equipment for the podcast. So when I do more in-person podcasts like I plan to do every year at Dragon Con from here on out, the sound will be good. It will be mixed together perfectly, and it won't sound like dog shit because, oh my god. Because if you're listening this long to my fucking nasally ass voice, I can at least do the fucking proper
thing.
You
think you got a voice. Jesus, you don't... Have you heard all of my voiceovers?
Yes. Almost all of them.
This gravelly nonsense. So you heard the Fallout one where I had a cold.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little bit of credit, man.
Nah. Yeah. I hate my voice. That's all it is.
Your voice hasn't dropped a couple octaves since we started.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to eat lozenges all day tomorrow. Nah. I can talk. I can words.
Yeah, words. What are words?
I throw balls far.
Right.
You want someone with good words, data languager.
That made no fucking sense.
That's a Rick and Morty quote. I gotta stop doing that. Just turn into Darmok Angelad at Jalad. Angelad at Tanagra. Damn it, I gotta go to bed.
Save it for the YouTube videos, man. Save it for the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But with that, we will catch you next time. And surprisingly sober for the next 3 podcasts, so that's a plus.
What?
I only drink at night.
Yeah.
You saw what I was drinking.
Yeah. Did I? I don't know. I just don't. It's all a blur. It's all a crazy anime blur.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will catch you in the next episode. Thanks so much for listening. I love you all. Goodbye.
Later.